In the post-Vietnam War era, the effort to reassert American dominance was limited by an economic contraction. The societal and generational ruptures that accompanied the Vietnam War and the anti-war movement exacerbated the perception that the American dream was no longer unbounded. Post-Vietnam fears of decline contributed to the 1980 election of Ronald Reagan and conservative dominance. Notions of decline were present in the post-Cold War triumphalism, the post-September 11th hyper-militarism, the 2008 financial collapse and ensuing Great Recession, and Donald Trump's presidency. This was compounded by the depiction of threats everywhere. American politicians and policymakers saw a world of enemies at home and abroad. Crime and narcotics have been portrayed as symptoms of American decline. They have also served to bridge domestic and foreign policies. During and after the Vietnam War era, crime and narcotics were racialized and portrayed in the starkest terms as a threat to the American way of life. From Johnson to Trump, these portrayals were effective for politicians and their advisors. The wars on crime and drugs provided an opportunity for successive administrations to unleash America's military might inside and outside the United States, establishing precedents for the global war on terror. They were depicted as struggles to secure the homeland and save civilization, and their conflation and institutionalization has had intended and unintended consequences. This is not a book about the Vietnam War. It is about the world that conflict helped to shape. The war served as a reference point for influential diplomats, soldiers, and experts, although they did not always draw the same lessons. It was an experience they frequently returned to for better and worse. In Vietnam, the United States adapted some of its tactics and practices from prior conflicts, including in the Philippines and Korea, but the war had its own important impact on popular memory and culture. American militarism has not been limited to foreign battlefields. Politicians and policymakers have insisted that Americans are engaged in an existential struggle against foes seen and unseen, foreign and domestic. Thus, militarism has seeped into everyday American life, as the United States has not settled for defeat or victory, but for war as a permanent state. This is a story that begins with a young senator from Massachusetts and an insurgency in South Vietnam, and continues to this day.